Hello everyone, welcome to TGILGBTT, or thank God it's LGBT Tuesday. Today we're gonna talk about a couple of LGBTQ icons, Turk and JD from TV show Scrubs. So today we're gonna focus on JD and Turk from the TV show Scrubs. Now I decided to focus on the characters rather than the actors, Zach and Donald, because the characters are already built. We know where their journey begins and where their journey ends. When we talk about real people, when we talk about the actors in this case, we don't know what's gonna happen with them. We hope that they're gonna be role models for us for all history, but we all know what happened to J.K. Rowling in 2020. So I think it's safer to stay talking about the characters, in this case JD and Turk. Although I do believe that a lot of the characteristics that make them an LGBT icon are shared with the actors Zach and Donald. Now, for those of you who maybe are not familiar with JD and Turk, there are a couple of characters from the TV show Scrubs which have a really strong relationship. They're two straight guys, or pretty straight guys, like I'm not sure exactly where they fit in the Kinsey scale, but they're pretty much straight, and they have a really good relationship with each other. They're defined on the internet as the straightest gay relationship that there ever was, or the greatest bromance of all time, and I decided to pick them as an icon for this capsule because they're a really strong model for straight guy relationships. I believe that as we all know, representation matters, and to have healthy and positive examples of relationships between guys is really important, and that's why they were chosen to be our icons this time. What makes Turk and JD such a good positive role model is the relationship that they have with each other. They're comfortable to be with each other, they're to talk to each other about emotions and what's happening in their lives, the problems and their accomplishments. And I think this is quite important, especially considering some statistics for guys around the world. Just to give you a couple of examples about this, suicide is the single biggest killer of men under the age of 45 in the UK. It says on a BBC article that men are 3 times more likely to die by suicide, even considering that women tend to have a higher rates of depression diagnosis. I think one of the risk factors that they talk about in this article from the BBC is communication. They talk about how men tend to bottle up their problems based on things that we grew up with. Expressions like, "Oh, boys don't cry," and emotion seen as something weak, a weakness. So I think a lot of times guys are afraid to talk about their emotions or being close to someone else because of the taboos in the society and how they're gonna be seen as. That's why the relationship between Turk and JD is so positive, because they are not afraid to express their emotion, and they're not afraid of being who they are and be close to each other. In a way that especially in the time that it was shown on TV, I think it was really different. I think now we see more relationships like this, but when the show aired, it was really something spectacular. It was something that we weren't used to, and that's why we applaud that relationship in TGILGBTT. Now, when I was growing up, I remember watching some different TV shows, and it was weird to see LGBT representation on TV. So I think it was really positive to see these guys, these straight guys having such a good relationship. And it was like I was trying to search out for moments, because you see some shows now and you see how they've aged, and sometimes it's a bit sketchy, and things like movies, the Ace Ventura and that horrible transphobic moment at the end, and even shows like Friends, there's a moment where there's a male nanny, and Ross is making this big issue because nannies shouldn't be guys, and it's fighting those stereotypes and fighting those rules that society made at some point, telling us that some jobs are for guys and some jobs are for girls. So I was researching, trying to see if there was any moments like this that would make JD and Turk maybe not the best example for our capsule to become an icon in here. And I actually run past one. There's an episode called My Monster, when straight from the beginning there's a scene, and they talk about this in the internet, and some positive opinions, some negative opinions. They talk about how JD is looking at Turk and Carla kissing, and then Turk says something like, "Dude, like at least put some shades on or something." So JD tries to deflect, and he comments on how Turk made out with a trans person at some point, and Turk's turned around and he says, he tells Carla, "Baby, it was dark, and she had a body that was rocking." And I think I thought it was a really good comment. Like, he never reacted in a disgust way, or he never show any sign of judgment against it. He actually made what I consider a really positive remark. He said that, like, yes, everyone would hit that, like everyone with that body, yeah, you would definitely would make out with he, she. So I was really happy to see that was the only horrible or the worst moment that I could find in Scrubs regarding to LGBT things. I know that there was an episode where they made Turk feel a bit uncomfortable with homosexuality, which Bill Lawrence talked about in Zach and Donald's podcast, which if you haven't heard, you need to start listening to. And Bill Lawrence talked about how the network kind of forced it upon them to talk about this LGBT topic at the moment. But I'm really happy to see that the relationship between JD and Turk and how they interact with the LGBT community in the show, it's so positive, and that's why they are an icon today. Finally, I thought to use JD and Turk to talk about something that we haven't heard that much information of, I think, which is the difference between sexual orientation and romantic orientation, which is sexual orientation is the sexual attraction to other people or lack of sexual attraction for other people, and romantic orientation is your romantic attraction to other people or lack of romantic attraction. And I think the relationship that these guys have in the show, and I think probably in real life, Donald and Zach, they have such a strong relationship, and I know I have friends, a lot of my best friends, that we've told each other, "I love you." Like, I know that I'm in love with you. Like, if I'm not gonna have sex with you, you're my friend, you're someone that I really care for, and in other circumstances we will probably be married. Like, or that's because I am in love with you, because that's my romantic orientation. I know that romantically I could fall in love with a lot of people. Sexually, maybe I'm not gonna have sex with everyone, but that's why it's important to make that distinction. And I think JD and Turk have such a strong bond, which they're not afraid to share to the world. There's an episode, My Manhood, where it's one. I don't know if it's the last season or almost one of the last seasons, and they're talking about their kids, and And JD says like, Turk, we're not married. And Turk is like, dude, we're all here married. And I think that's why I found so interesting about this relationship. They're not afraid to show each other love, and they're not afraid about the world to see their love for each other. It's 2021 just now, maybe it's 2025 if you're watching this 4 years from now, but we live in a time where love is love, and we should respect it and embrace it. And that's why JD and Turk are our LGBT icon of this month. I am Mr. Lopez for TGILGBTT, or thank God it's LGBT Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Bye.